everybody, Daisy Head by Mary here again. I actually am filming the day after I just posted my last video because it was so fun and I'm so excited about this, and I kind of learned how to do a little bit of video editing right before I posted, and also all of the response I've had from friends and supporters on Instagram has been awesome. So I love you guys so much and I wanted to thank you all for that from the bottom of my heart. So today what I wanted to talk about were my favorite tools, and I tried to do this in the same video as my favorite products, and it was the longest video of my life. So I thought, oh, why don't I separate the two, and then it won't be so grossly long and people won't get frustrated that they're having to listen to my voice for like 45 minutes. So what I want to talk about today is my absolute favorite brush set in the world people, and that is Mikasa Beauty 10-piece essential brush set.
Essential 10-piece brush set. It's 10 pieces, it's essential, they're brushes.
I was lucky enough to win these in a giveaway from Kim J Love and Mikasa Beauty on Instagram, because I apparently win a lot of Instagram giveaways, and I don't know why that is, but it's awesome. When I received them, these were unquestionably the best brushes I'd ever had in my life. I've never had like really super high quality brushes. Of course I use good brushes, and I'll admit that my clients get better brushes than I did in my personal kit, just because that's how I am. And there are a lot of brands that I love, so I don't want you to think that there are other brands that I don't love as well, but these just happen to be the standouts for me. Once you open it up, you'll see there are the 10 brushes inside. I love when they come with a carrying cup. It's so much easier to keep things clean. You don't get the fallout from powders or whatever. You can throw it in a bag when you're traveling, and it just keeps all of your brushes together. So I really like it, and I think this one is so sturdy. This is just the nicest, sturdiest canister I've ever had. And I've actually gotten a lot of brush sets that came with canisters. And I also think it's just really nice looking. I like the sleek black look, the faux leather. So inside are the 10 brushes. I also hate it.
Just as an aside, I hate it when they are like 10 pieces and then the carrying canister happens to be one of the pieces and you're like, it's really just 9.
But this is actually a full 10-piece brush set. So I'm going to start with the face brushes and kind of work my way down to the eyes. Right now this is the only option they have available on their website, which is mikasabeauty.com. Mikasabeauty.com. I'll put that link down below. But they promised me that they're going to be releasing new brushes in the coming months, so I'm really excited for that, and I am definitely going to purchase them without question. So the first one I'm going to show you is the F100. I'm not going to hold this too close because I noticed in yesterday's video things weren't really focusing very well, so you can just see it from here. It's a really nice face brush. So the F100 is obviously just your basic powder brush. What I love about it is its size, the density of the bristles, and it's so soft. That's one thing that I love about really good quality brushes is the bristles are really, really soft. And it's not just enjoyable while I'm putting on my makeup, but the softer the bristles, the more blendable your makeup is. So I absolutely love this. I use it with my e.l.f. Cosmetics Studio High Definition Powder almost daily, unless I want a really, really dewy finish. So I just highly recommend this. If you wear any sort of powder product on your face, pressed or loose, you should definitely invest in a good face brush, and you might as well just buy the Mikasa set. The next brush I'm going to talk about is the F200. This is kind of a multi-purpose tool. Because it has duo fibers, some synthetic, some natural, you can use it for a lot of different purposes. So some people use these to apply their foundation, others just use it as a finishing powder, some people like to use it as a stippling brush for, you know, whatever. You can use it for pretty much anything. The reason I only use this as a finishing brush is because I feel like the general circumference is just a little bit too big to really make it useful on my face when I'm doing foundation. I did use it as a foundation brush a few times just to give it a shot, and I didn't dislike the brush, but I just felt like it's so big that my cheeks are pretty much the only place that I can use it, and then I have to switch to another brush anyhow. So I really like this one as a finishing brush, especially I like to blend, you know, my contour a little bit more, or to just brush if I wanted to have like kind of a shimmery finish all over my face, whatever. I love this brush, and again, ridiculously soft. This is the softest duo fiber brush I've ever owned in my life. Like, I don't even know. You probably can't even tell how soft it is in this video, but it's soft. It's like, oh, it's so soft. Okay.
She's getting weird now.
The next one I'm going to show you is the F300. This is their foundation brush. And it's funny because I went through this phase where a foundation brush was all I ever wanted to use. And then I got a flat top kabuki brush from RC Cosmetics, and then that was all I ever wanted to use. And then I got the Beauty Blender, and it was like, why would I ever use another brush ever again for the rest of my life? And then I got the Morphe small buffer brush, and I don't know, I've just gone through so many different brush types that all have really awesome features. But the foundation brush always got left in the dust. I thought, well, all of these other brushes are more effective. They don't leave streaks in my skin or my makeup. I just like them a lot better. This foundation brush has changed my mind about foundation brushes. They're really, really stiff bristles. They're synthetic, and they're really stiff. I apologize, it's a little dirty because I used it today, but I really like that. And what I found to get the best results with your foundation brush is to use really soft, small strokes when you're applying your foundation. The harder you press, the more streaks you are going to have, and also it's just going to kind of move the foundation around on your face rather than blend it into the skin. I'm using the Buxom Show Some Skin Weightless Foundation today in shade Fair Game. It was a sample that I received from Sephora, and I used this brush with it, and I don't know. I have a pretty flawless finish, I think, and I attribute that almost entirely to this brush. The final face brush we're going to talk about is the F110, and that's the angled blush brush. So you can kind of see that it's got that nice angle. It's a little bit wider than other blush brushes I've had in the past, just a little bit bigger. And so when I first received it, I was a little bit scared because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to cover like my entire face in blush when I use this. And that is not the case. I don't know if it's the way that they've tapered the bristles or just because they're magic, but I receive the perfect amount of blush every single time I apply using this brush. It's again, super soft, just like all the others. This actually, I don't know, it feels even a little bit softer, but I did just wash it, so that might be why. But it's the perfect blush brush. I don't know. I love it. I just think it's the best. So if somebody were to say you could only have 2 face brushes from the Mikasa set, I would definitely say foundation brush, F300, and the blush brush, F110. Those would be the 2 that I would take, but then I would probably go back and steal the other 2 because I wouldn't want the entire set. So moving on to eyes, and this is kind of like a weird transition, but this is the E220. This is the concealer brush, and it's another synthetic brush. I don't use it for concealer. The main reason is because I typically use my Beauty Blender to blend out my concealer because I need a pretty good amount of coverage. I've got a lot of acne scarring, and then the dark circles under my eyes. Oh my gosh, like really bad. So I don't typically use a foundation brush. I also feel like it takes a little bit too much time, so I'll use my fingers, Beauty Blender, what have you. So what I've been using this as is a great eyeshadow brush. I just had a weird brain fart. It's fine. So anyways, I love to use this, especially with my ColourPop Cosmetics. I feel like ColourPop Cosmetics and Mikasa Beauty concealer brushes were made for each other.
I feel like the makeup god's hands forged them at the same time. Weird? Sacrilegious? I don't know. If I offended you, I'm really sorry.
I get this a little bit damp, tap it into the product, and then I just pat it onto my eyelid. Anytime that I want to use damp eyeshadow or a damp brush to enhance the color of my eyeshadow, or I want to use the ColourPop, I'm absolutely reaching for this concealer brush. So soft, of course, nice density, it's got a good taper. I don't know if you can see, but the bristles kind of get a little bit thinner towards the tip. It's just the perfect brush. Next eye brush I want to talk about is the E200. This is their angled shadow brush, and this is the one that I use just to sweep the first color all over my entire eyelid. That's almost always a very light color. Today I used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Artist Palette, and I applied Buttery all over my eyelid. And this is a really good brush for that sort of thing. And that's pretty much the only way that I use this particular brush. It's certainly not the only use for the brush, but it's just how I use it. I think mostly that's because of the shape of my eye. I have what's called a monolid or a hooded lid or a single lid, what have you, because I'm Asian and I don't really have a crease. So it's just really easy to get color all over my entire lid just by using this brush. And I love this angled shape. It's awesome. Next brush. This is the greatest brush of my life, and I'm not even kidding you right now, is the E300, their blending brush. I've owned a lot of blending brushes in my time, both in client kits and my personal kit. I've owned tons of brands, and no offense to the other brands, but this one is head and shoulders and head and shoulders and head and shoulders above all the others. It's so good. And again, I'm not quite positive what it is that makes this blending brush better than all of the others, but it just works so much better. It performs extremely well. The blend that I can get on my eyeshadow is totally flawless. I always use it in the crease. I like to kind of mix shadows there sometimes, but anytime I'm doing like a smoky eye, I mean, I use this every day, but especially for like a smoky eye, I can blow out the colors just so easily with this brush. It's a little bit shorter, I don't know if you notice, it's just a little bit shorter than a lot of other blending brushes, and as consequence, they're a lot denser. The bristles are a lot denser, and I think that that's what makes it the way that it is. I cannot say enough good things about this particular brush. It's my favorite. The next eye brush that we're going to talk about is the E210, and this is just a regular small shadow brush. It's a little bit wide. It's kind of a fatty little brush, and I like that. It's kind of cute. It's just a little chubby guy. I use this most often under my eyes when I'm trying to, especially with a smoky eye. Sometimes though, because of its chubby size, it can be a little bit too big, and so I'll go to a different brush for that. But I really like the blend that I can get, especially if I'm starting with a dark color closer to my lash line and then kind of going out to a lighter shade. I love to use this for that lighter shade and can blend things out really well. I have occasionally used it on my upper lid, but mostly I'm using this on the lower lid. And I will admit this is probably the least used of my entire set, but that doesn't mean that I don't really think it's a great brush. I think part of it, honestly, is my eye shape. Next brush is the E110. This is their liner brush, and I remember when I first got it in the mail, I thought, this is a really fat liner brush, and there's no way that I could get any sort of precision. Totally wrong. This is my go-to for winged liner. I love the Tarte Cosmetics Tarteist liner, as I mentioned in the other video that I did, and this helps me achieve a perfectly flawless winged liner every single time. Again, it's just a little bit denser than other brushes you might purchase, and there's really no way that I can show you, I don't think, because it's probably not going to focus, but it's got a lovely little point at the end. The bristles taper at just the perfect angle that it it actually does offer a really nice precision. You can do a really, really thin line just right at the end of your wings. So this eyeliner brush is the greatest eyeliner brush of my life. And the very last brush, number 10, is the E100. And this is an angled liner and or brow brush. I use it exclusively for my brows because I love that liner brush so much. I don't really, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, so this is what I use on my brows when I want a more natural brow. The bristles aren't as stiff as other angled liner brushes I've used in the past. And because of that, I feel like I don't get as dark a brow as I like all of the time. So when I'm rocking a more natural makeup, I definitely reach for this little brush and I use it on my eyebrows, and then I feel like everything's a little bit more proportionate, but it's a really, really good brow brush. And I will say, if you've got thicker brows than I do, mine are very, very sparse, and like I mentioned in the last video, I have to draw them almost completely in. If you have thicker brows or a really nice natural brow and you only have to fill it in a little bit with color, this would be perfect for you, especially with a brow powder. I can't even imagine how awesome it would be. Just for me personally, it doesn't deliver the amount of color that I personally want and need in a brow brush, but that doesn't mean it's not good, and it doesn't mean I don't use it. In terms of longevity, I've had these brushes now since mid-December. That's when I received them. I actually got home from Disney World and they were there in the mail, and that was like, and it was right before Christmas. So it was just the best December of my life. I've washed them pretty regularly. I only wash my brushes about once every month, except for brushes that I'm using with creme products. So especially like this liner brush or this concealer brush, anything that might get a little bit of buildup of product on it, I'm going to wash a little bit more regularly just so it performs better. They hold up extremely well in washing. They're very sturdy brushes. I really love, I don't know, I love the sleek design. I love the handles. They're ergonomically comfortable. But there's no indication that they're going to, come out at any time. The glue isn't going to, fall apart or anything. The brushes themselves are holding up extremely well to the washing. I use the RC Cosmetics brush glove, so I get a really deep clean on my brushes, and they're just awesome. So I highly recommend these a ton. I love them. Hold up. I didn't actually film an ending, a closing statement, something about how I love you guys, or I hope you enjoyed the video. Very classy. I'm still working on this, as you can tell. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it informational. Everything is going to be down below, the links to the websites and everything and the products that I talked about. I hope you enjoyed it, and come back for another video. It's going to be all about skincare.